My gardening journey, like so many others, has been one of trial and certainly of error. I remember one particular patch of ground at the back of the garden that simply refused to cooperate. It was a sad, sorry sight. The earth was compacted, pale, and cracked under the summer sun like old pottery. Anything I dared to plant there seemed to give up the ghost within weeks, its leaves yellowing and its spirit broken. I felt a deep sense of frustration. It felt as though the very soul of the soil had departed, leaving behind a dusty skeleton that offered no welcome to new life. I tried everything I thought I knew back then, digging in expensive bags of shop-bought compost and watering it religiously every single evening. The results were always dishearteningly the same. The water would sit on the surface for a moment before running off, barely penetrating the hard-baked crust. The compost I'd so carefully worked in seemed to vanish, leaving the soil just as lifeless as before. It was a constant battle, one that I felt I was losing. It taught me a valuable lesson. You can't force a garden to grow. You can give it all the material things you think it needs, but if the fundamental life force is missing, your efforts will come to nothing. It's like trying to make a beautiful cake with flour and sugar, but forgetting the yeast. Without that spark of life, you just end up with a hard, dense lump. I spent a good deal of time simply observing this difficult patch. I watched how the rain behaved on its surface, how the sun baked it day after day. It became clear that the problem wasn't just a lack of water or nutrients. The problem was deeper. It was a lack of life itself. A healthy garden is a bustling community, a thriving ecosystem that exists mostly out of our sight beneath our feet. My sad patch of earth was a silent, empty city. There were no worms to be seen, no beetles scurrying about, none of the tiny unseen organisms that are the true architects of fertile ground. The soil was, for all intents and purposes, dead. It was a profound realization and the starting point for a whole new approach. This experience forced me to look beyond the conventional wisdom of just adding more stuff to the soil. I began to understand that soil isn't an inert medium for holding up plants. It is a living, breathing entity. My attempts to fix it with brute force and bagged products were failing because they didn't address the root cause. The soil didn't need another dose of feed. It needed to be revived. It needed a transfusion of life. This shift in perspective changed everything about how I garden, moving away from treating symptoms and towards nurturing the health of the entire system, starting with the billions of invisible allies waiting to be invited back. We think of water as a simple substance, something to quench a plant's thirst. But there is water, and then there is living water. This isn't some mystical concept, it's a simple, natural truth. Imagine a woodland floor after a rain shower. The water that drips from the leaves and trickles down the bark of ancient trees is not just pure H2O. It has collected a rich soup of microscopic life along its journey: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and countless other organisms that live on the surfaces of the forest. This is living water, and it is the lifeblood of any healthy ecosystem. It doesn't just hydrate, it inoculates the soil with a vibrant community of workers. This is the fundamental difference that was missing in my barren patch of garden. When I turned on the tap, I was providing moisture, yes, but it was sterile. Tap water, often treated with chlorine to make it safe for us to drink, is devoid of the microbial life that soil desperately needs to function properly. It's like giving a starving person a glass of water but no food. It helps, but it doesn't provide the substance needed to build strength and vitality. The water I was using was keeping the dust down, but it wasn't building a home for the worms or feeding the fungi that create good soil structure. Living water, by contrast, is a delivery system for life itself. So, what does this microscopic army actually do? These tiny organisms are the ultimate recyclers. They break down dead organic matter, fallen leaves, old roots, and the compost we add, and transform it into humus. Humus is the dark, crumbly, sweet-smelling stuff that all gardeners dream of. It is what holds on to moisture like a sponge, what stores nutrients for plants to access, and what creates the open, airy structure that allows roots to breathe and grow. Without these microbes, organic matter simply sits in the soil and decays very slowly, sometimes not at all. The living water is what activates this whole incredible process. Understanding this concept is the key to transforming any poor soil. You aren't just trying to add nutrients, you are trying to build a self-sustaining system. When you introduce a diverse population of microbes, you are essentially hiring a microscopic workforce that will labor on your behalf day and night. They will aerate the soil, fight off diseases, and make nutrients available to your plants in a form they can easily absorb. This is how nature has been creating fertile soil for millions of years, and it's a process we can easily replicate in our own back gardens without spending a single penny. It's a return to a more collaborative way of gardening. Making your own living water, or what some call a microbe tea, is wonderfully simple and deeply satisfying. You don't need any fancy equipment or expensive ingredients. All you need is a bucket, some water, and a source of good microbes. My favorite source is a handful of my own homemade compost. It is teeming with the exact life forms your garden soil is crying out for. If you don't have compost, a handful of rich, dark soil from a healthy part of your garden or from beneath a mature tree will work just as well. This small handful is your starter culture, the yeast for your brew. It's the promise of a better garden, held right in the palm of your hand. The process is straightforward. First, fill a bucket with rainwater if you can. It's naturally free of chlorine and is the best choice for brewing. If you must use tap water, let it stand in the open bucket for 24 hours. This allows most of the chlorine to dissipate into the air, making the water much more welcoming for the microbes you are about to introduce. Next, take your handful of compost or healthy soil and pop it into an old sock, a bit of hessian sacking, or a mesh bag. Tie the top securely, creating a giant tea bag. This just makes it easier to strain later, although it's not strictly necessary. Now drop your tea bag into the bucket of water. To really kickstart the process and feed your new microbial friends, add a spoonful of something sugary. Unsulfured molasses is the classic choice, but a drizzle of honey or even just a spoonful of brown sugar will do the trick. The sugar is a quick source of energy that encourages the bacteria and fungi to wake up and start reproducing rapidly. Give the bucket a good stir to mix everything together and dissolve the sugar. Then, all you need to do is wait. Cover the bucket with a cloth to keep debris out, but allow air to circulate and place it somewhere out of direct sunlight. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, a miracle will happen inside that bucket. The microbes from your compost starter will multiply by the billion, feasting on the sugar and consuming the oxygen in the water. You can help them along by stirring the brew vigorously a few times a day. This adds more oxygen, which favors the beneficial aerobic microbes. After a day or two, your water will have transformed. It will likely smell earthy and sweet, a bit like a forest floor after rain. This is your finished liquid gold, a potent, living elixir ready to bring your tired soil back from the brink. Applying your homemade microbe tea is honestly the best part. It's the moment you deliver that promise of life to the soil. The best time to do this is on a cool, overcast day or in the evening, since the microbes are sensitive to strong, ultraviolet light from the sun. You can use a watering can with a rose attachment to gently shower the liquid over the soil surface and the foliage of your plants. And, don't worry about straining it perfectly. A few bits of compost escaping won't do any harm. Make sure you apply it generously, really drenching the areas you want to revive. I always focus on the base of struggling plants and any bare patches of earth that need help. The first changes are subtle, but honestly, they're pretty profound. Almost immediately, the soil's relationship with water changes. Where before water would pool on the surface or run off, you'll notice it now soaks in more readily. This is because the microbes and the sticky substances they produce begin to bind tiny soil particles together, creating small aggregates. This process, which is called flocculation, opens up microscopic channels and pores in the soil, allowing water and air to penetrate. Your soil is starting to breathe again. It's a quiet revolution happening right under your nose, and it's the first sign that your efforts are working. This is also the perfect time to add a layer of organic mulch. A blanket of shredded leaves, grass clippings, straw, or even cardboard laid over the treated soil acts as both a protective layer and a food source. The mulch shields your newly introduced microbes from the sun and helps to keep the soil moist, creating the perfect environment for them to thrive. More importantly, it provides a feast for them. As they get to work breaking down this organic matter, they will multiply even faster, accelerating the process of soil regeneration. The combination of living water and mulch is incredibly powerful. It's a partnership that builds fertility at an astonishing rate. Within a few weeks, you will see more obvious signs of change. The most exciting for me is always the return of the worms. Where once my spade would turn over nothing but dense, lifeless clay, it now reveals plump, wriggling earthworms. These are the engineers of the soil, and their presence is the ultimate seal of approval. Their burrowing continues the work of aeration, and their castings are one of the most nutrient-rich fertilizers imaginable. You'll also notice the color of the soil beginning to darken as humus is created, and it will develop a lovely, crumbly texture. It will start to smell alive, rich and earthy. This is the scent of a healthy, functioning garden. There is a fundamental difference between nurturing the soil with living water and using synthetic chemical fertilizers. Chemical fertilizers are, in essence, a quick fix. They provide a rush of soluble nutrients directly to the plant, often resulting in a rapid but weak flush of growth. However, they do absolutely nothing for the health of the soil itself. In fact, the high salt content of many synthetic fertilizers can harm or even kill the very microbial life you're trying to encourage. It's kind of like living on a diet of sugary energy drinks. You get a temporary boost, but your long-term health deteriorates. It creates a cycle of dependency. Living water, on the other hand, takes the opposite approach. It focuses on feeding the soil, not the plant. By building a thriving soil food web, you are creating a resilient, self-sufficient system. The microbes break down organic matter and minerals in the soil, releasing nutrients slowly and steadily in a form that plants can naturally absorb. This creates stronger, healthier plants with more robust root systems. These plants are better able to withstand pests, diseases, and periods of drought. You are building a foundation of health from the ground up, rather than simply patching over deficiencies with chemicals. This approach also vastly improves the soil's structure and its ability to manage water. The humus created by microbial activity acts like a natural sponge. It can hold a remarkable amount of water, releasing it to plant roots as needed. This means you will need to water far less often, even during dry spells. In times of heavy rain, the improved structure allows excess water to drain away freely, preventing waterlogging and root rot. Chemical fertilizers cannot do this. They contribute nothing to soil structure, leaving it just as prone to compaction, erosion, and flooding as it was before. Over time, a garden nourished with microbe teas becomes less and less work. The soil's fertility becomes self-renewing as the ecosystem matures. You are no longer locked in a constant battle, but are instead a custodian of a thriving community. You'll find that pests become less of a problem as healthy plants are less attractive to them, and a diverse soil population includes predators that keep pest numbers in check. You are moving away from a model of control and intervention and towards one of collaboration and observation. You are creating a garden that works with nature, not against it. The wonderful thing about this method is its accessibility. Anyone can do it, anywhere. You don't need a large garden or a fancy compost bin. If you lack compost, you can create a milder but still beneficial brew using other organic materials. A handful of green weeds, before they set seed, of course, some chopped comfrey leaves, or even just a few handfuls of grass clippings can be used as your starter. Just place them in a bucket of water and let them steep for a week or two. The resulting liquid will be a fantastic nutrient-rich tea that will feed both your plants and the soil microbes, encouraging the existing population to flourish. To keep the momentum going, I find it helpful to get into a simple monthly routine. On one weekend a month, I make a fresh brew of microbe tea. It becomes a pleasant ritual. While it's brewing, I gather materials for mulch, collecting fallen leaves, shredding cardboard, or saving grass clippings. Then, I spend an afternoon applying the tea to the whole garden, giving every bed a good drink, followed by topping up the mulch where it's getting thin. This regular application ensures the microbial population stays high and the soil food web remains active and well fed. It's a small investment of time that pays enormous dividends in the health and vitality of your garden. The change in that once barren patch of my garden has been nothing short of miraculous. Where once there was pale, cracked earth, there is now dark, crumbly soil that smells sweet and is alive with worms. Plants no longer struggle, they thrive. Their roots plunge eagerly into the welcoming earth, and their leaves are a deep, healthy green. I can now grow vegetables there with ease, something that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. This transformation didn't cost me a fortune in fertilizers or soil improvers. It was achieved with water, a bucket, and the garden's own waste materials. So I encourage you to try it. Look at your garden not as a project to be managed, but as an ecosystem to be nurtured. Start with one bucket. Use what you have. There is no right or wrong way, only the act of beginning. Reviving your soil is one of the most rewarding things you can do as a gardener. You are not just growing plants, you are cultivating life itself, creating a healthier, more resilient, and more beautiful world, starting right there beneath your feet. And the best part is, nature provides everything you need, completely free of charge.